Welcome inside MatchDA, everybody. This is where we break down the MLS playoffs. We've had more upsets happening in these two conference finals, and this is where we're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals. So let us begin coming up here with the striker of the day. Nick DeLeon wins our mascot for the 1994 World Cup Award. His finish was ridiculous for Toronto FC in the 78th minute of this match. This is a big upset of Atlanta United on the road. Score tied 1 apiece, and he rips it from like 5 yards outside the top of the box. It looks like the United defender just kind of stopped and waited to see what he was going to do, and then he just struck. What a beautiful goal on the road. Silences the Atlanta United crazy crowd, and DeLeon's been a clutch player performer for his entire career. It's time for your honorary LP Bay of the day, which goes to our Carlos Valderrama-esque showman performance. And this goes to Quentin Westberg, Toronto FC keeper, because Joseph Martinez has a chance to put this out of reach for Atlanta United. In just the 11th minute, he gets that penalty kick. Could have been 2-0 in the 11th minute, and instead, Westberg dives to his right, makes a huge diving save, saves the match for Toronto FC. And Martinez never misses a PK against MLS opponents. That was the difference in this match. We also have a very special guest coming up on this episode of MatchDA. How about my friend Jimmy Conrad? Out of these two conference final matches, which upset was more stark to you? Which was more surprising?
I would say Atlanta probably losing to Toronto. Toronto had been pretty inconsistent all season. Atlanta pretty unbeatable at home. I thought that LAFC did have some vulnerabilities. They haven't proven that they can win in a cup competition. They got knocked out of the Open Cup. They got knocked out of any of the Champions League stuff. They couldn't get it done in one-off. So there was still a little bit of a knock on them, whereas Atlanta proved by winning MLS Cup last year that they could do the business at home in big games. So I was a little bit surprised there. And in fairness, if you saw the game, I thought Atlanta deserved a little bit more from it, and we're pretty unlucky to lose 2-1, whereas with LAFC, I thought they deserved to lose to Seattle.
Did you think that Atlanta United got lulled to sleep by Toronto's defense and style of play?
Perhaps. I think they lacked a little bit of, let's say, I don't know, like taking responsibility in the attacking third, right? Like, I'm going to score this goal. Usually that guy's Joseph Martinez. He missed the penalty kick. That would have made it 2-0 after 10 minutes. If he makes that, I think the game's done and dusted. I don't think Toronto has 2 goals in them. You know, they scored both their goals outside of the box. It wasn't like they were penetrating too much into Atlanta's area. But they made the plays, right? And they were decisive. That was what I was looking for before, and Atlanta wasn't in the attacking third, and that was the difference.
Do you like how we went to the MLS playoffs one-game format this year?
I do. I think it rewards the team that has a better record to host the game. Now, we're both, kind of probably smiling at that because both teams that hosted the conference semifinals or conference finals both lost their home games. But, over 2 legs, I feel like that still gives the team with a lower record a better advantage because they get a home game to maybe take some chances and potentially build up a lead, especially when they get the first leg first. The team that has the worst record goes first. So they get to set the tone for the series, and then you have to come home and match that. And I just think that this felt better. And honestly, these have been some of the most exciting games in recent MLS playoff history. And because you have a second game, I feel like maybe the urgency isn't the same in leg 1 as it should be. But when it's just a one-off, 90 minutes, everything to play for, you can feel the juice, and it's fun to watch.
Score for me 1-10, Nick DeLeon's dagger for Toronto FC the other night.
I would say an 8. I mean, his finish alone is probably a 10, right? His technique is perfect. I was, I guess, a little bit disappointed that Atlanta was pressuring him. If you guys ever get to see the highlight, you see these defenders that are around him. Then all of a sudden they back off and let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah. So
had DeLeon been under an immense amount of pressure and then buried something like that, then that would be like a 10 out of 10. But given the fact that he had a little bit of time to pick up his head and pick a corner, now obviously his technique's amazing, but because the defenders backed off a little bit, I'm going to just drop it to like a 9.
Okay, dude. Good to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Dick.
All right, dude. And finally, that's a meme. The sad fans of Atlanta. Think about their month of October. You're talking about the Braves getting smoked by the Cardinals in the first round of the NLDS. You're talking about the Falcons. They haven't won a game, and their dead man walking head coach Dan Quinn still employed. And then Atlanta United FC bowing out of the playoffs even before MLS Cup. Whew. That'll do it for us on this episode of MatchDA. Stick around. We've got the Western Conference recap as well here on YouTube and all of these social media channels.